Hi everyone, so today I'll be trying another foundation. I'll be trying a foundation palette today actually, the one from RCMA. I'll be trying this palette in combination with the RCMA no color powder. Yep, it looks like this. I've tried it a little bit but barely anything, just touching it and seeing the formula, but basically I'll be trying it on my face for the first time. This translucent no color powder as well as a cream colored blush palette. So yeah, let's just get started. So as you can see, this is my skin condition at the moment. So I'm just gonna try half my face with a sponge and the other half with a kabuki brush. These are said to be pure pigments and we'll just see how they perform on the skin in terms of coverage. As you can see, I guess it's good to sort of take a look at what my skin is before so that you know how much it actually covers. So yeah. These pigments can be used as a concealer as well, so I'm just going to pick a lighter shade. I think it's pretty decent. If you can see certain bumps, those are just natural textured skin issues, but basically if you can see the neutralization, I think it did a really good job hiding all my imperfections. And yeah, I used like pretty little product, I think, and yeah, and everything was just in one palette, so it's really convenient. And also the formula of these are not entirely creamy. I feel like they have a little bit of a silicone sort of slip. That's weird, but basically I just think that they are really blendable, and with a damp sponge it's really like foolproof. You basically don't really need to have a learning curve for these things. Just basically knowing which shades to mix in order to get your custom shade is just the only thing that you have to test out, but other than that it's really easy to use. So I'm just gonna try a kabuki brush on this side. What I find with the brush is that you do pick up a little bit of pigment but not a lot, but basically with that little bit of pigment it spreads out very widely across the face. It doesn't give you full coverage right off the bat, but you can build it up. It doesn't pick up a lot, but that little bit of pigment actually can spread around the face. So basically if you have really good skin, this will, yeah, you can just do a few swipes, that kind of thing. But for me, if I want to build up coverage like now, I'll mix the two of my custom shades and I'll pack it on. And the interesting thing is these pigments build upon each other as though you were applying a separate product on your face. I mean, if you blend it together in buffing motions, it does blend together, but what I'm saying is that, example, you want to use it as concealer, it does perform like a concealer. It doesn't just blend away like a foundation. So this is how it looks like. I'm just going to use a mixture between the mauve tones. I just used the e.l.f. stippling brush and it's amazing. Oh my gosh, can you see it? It looks so seamless and so like lightly flushed to the cheeks, which I really enjoy. It looks so good. I mean, it blends with the contour as well. I feel as though these blushes give a little bit of coverage. They are made similarly to the foundations, if that makes sense. So it's also good because RCMA products then mean that they can be built upon one another, and yeah, it just will look great together. So I'm just gonna do the rest of my face and I'll get back to you. So just my basic thoughts on the product. I'll put a list of claims here for the foundation. Basically, it's not the easiest to work with, but it's definitely an artist palette, if that makes sense. You have to mix your custom shade and find your suitable skin tone, but basically it's an all-in-one. You can use the foundations as bronzers, you can use the foundations as concealers, so it's really, really handy and it's very comfortable on the skin. It's like, it doesn't make me feel too dehydrated. At the moment my skin is dehydrated, but I usually have an oily complex, so we'll see how this lasts throughout the day. But basically for my morning check-in, after setting it with powder, it gives me, I didn't set the parameters of my face, so basically it's tacky but it's not dewy, if that makes sense. It's like a satin feel. It's definitely not velvet, it's definitely satin. It's not matte by any means, but it's not like something that will slip off your face. It's not something that doesn't adhere to the skin well. And yeah, it gives me a buildable medium to full coverage. So I think for me it's 10 out of 10 for all fronts of the products, and we'll see how it lasts throughout the day and I'll check back in after work. Okay, so I'm back from a long day of work and it is, I'll put the timing somewhere on the screen, but basically, yep, this is how everything looks, and as you can tell, it's pretty intact. It's quite amazing actually. When I left this morning, I realized it was quite a full coverage and it's really looking very good now. The only thing is that as my oils are seeping through, things are starting to sort of break up a little bit, but by this point this generally happens to me by wearing makeup for so long. And also if you set it with a powder can only keep the oils at bay for a certain amount of time, so you can't really expect fantastic things, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll just bring you in closer so you can see. So that's this side. As you can see, my dark spots are not even really peeking through. These sides only several, just because I've been like slightly touching my face, and the nose also barely wore away, even though I did blow my nose quite a bit. But yep, pretty amazing. So with all that being said, it seems like a pretty positive review, but basically what I have to say about the individual products will differ slightly. For the foundation palette, more accurately the RCMA Foundation Concealer palette in VK11 is definitely a makeup palette for makeup artists and not really for the everyday user, just because to touch up is a little difficult. If you bring this whole thing to work, I think people will just be like, high maintenance, or at least like, are you crazy? But basically, yeah. And with the concealer connotation of this palette, it really does perform as a concealer as well. I did not use any other concealer and this is how everything looks like. My contour is still intact and it's basically really incredible. So if you're a makeup junkie, you should definitely try this out, because if you like to self-tan or you like to just go out in the sun a lot, this will be great to customize your own shade. For the cream blush palette, I've been using this for like 2 months now and I've only reached for this if I want a cream blush, and yeah, it's like this. It's pretty neutral in tone. I've used all the shades. This one's slightly less than these three, but basically if I want to use any of these darker shades, I just mix them with the nude so that it dwindles down a little, or at least it just becomes, you know, less vibrant in the pan. Yeah, but basically even if I use this straight from itself, I just need to dust a load off the back of my hand and I can just use it as a pop of color. For the RCMA translucent powder, I really like this, but the packaging really irks me. I don't really like it just because of the packaging, but the powder itself, I love it, and I might actually use my Laura Mercier container to refill it with this at the end of the day, just because like packaging really matters to me, and if this doesn't help me achieve what I want to achieve, I basically am spilling powder most of the time rather than gathering it in my brush. So yeah, this formula wise, it's matte and it has no traces of shimmer, no traces of a glitter or anything like that, and it is translucent. It doesn't alter the color of the base, and it doesn't give me a white cast as well. So formula wise and product wise, it's an all-round thumbs up for me, and yeah, I'll give it around a 9 out of 10, more likely an 8, just because the packaging is really a downside. So yeah, it's my brand focus RCMA review and first impressions and you know, all that kind of thing. Yeah, if you guys want to try it out, do check out my full-length blog post in the description box. And if you like these kind of videos, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So with that, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!